Hey there, and welcome to AfterBuzz TV's Total Divas After Show. We're going to be breaking down Season 5, Episode 12, Baby Talk. Plus, there is some major diva news. We've got it all ahead for you. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yes! It is a beautiful life here at AfterBuzz TV. Thank you for coming to hang out with us. We love that you are chatting live in the YouTube live chat. I want to know what you guys have to say. Major Total Divas news, major women's wrestling news, and we are going to be talking about it all with you. We are on iTunes and SoundCloud as well. Please give us a 5-star rating. Leave a little comment. Let us know what you think about the show. My name is Christy Olson, and you guys can keep up with me at Christy Reports. Lots of fun WrestleMania stuff there. Please check it out. And I have a great panel here tonight that's going to help give me their opinion as well on all this crazy diva stuff going down. Please introduce yourselves.
Paulina.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm first. Hey, everyone. I'm Paulina Aguilar, and you guys can find me on Twitter at _Paulina Aguilar and on Instagram at Paulina M. Aguilar.
Ooh, sorry guys. I think I just spit on everyone because I just laughed.
Oh, that's what that was?
Spit at the same time.
Oh.
Sorry guys.
I didn't get it.
Oh,
It's
raining.
Megan Stecher. Sorry for the awkward pause. I thought George was going first. You guys can tweet me at Megan Stecher.
And you can tweet me at Hermoza, GHERMOZA, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat.
Yay.
All right. Well, guys, I don't know if you know, well, you all know, and you guys have probably all heard too because I've been talking about it a whole lot. But I was down in Dallas, Texas this weekend for WrestleMania. The Divas had 2 big matches, not 1, but 2. And there's a lot of breaking news as far as both the show goes and the Divas division at WWE, which is now called, actually, let's roll into this news and gossip right away.
AfterBuzz TV News.
That's right. We're going to get it started. We'll break down the episode in a few minutes. But I have got to make sure that everybody knows that the WWE Divas division is now the Women's Division. Boom! Yay! No longer will they be referred to as divas. They are now officially women wrestlers.
Not even, they're all superstars.
Oh, that's right. They are all superstars.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And they got
love
rid
it.
of the dumb butterfly belt, right?
They did.
God.
They did. There's a hot new kind of red and white one. Lita brought it out on Sunday.
right.
I like that even as a
Fabulous.
non-wrestling fan, you thought that belt looked so silly.
It was fugly.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
so early 90s, like My Little Pony. Get out of here with that.
I'm the only person in the world who thought it was cute, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, essentially like the UFC, like all the belts look the same.
Right.
Even for men and women, they all look the same. They're all the same size, but
Yeah.
it doesn't look exactly the same, but it's got the same style, just a different color. I think it looks prettier and better than the men's title.
Yeah, I mean, it's about being equal. It's less sexist,
girly.
I think. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, yeah. It's more girl power. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Women power. And if you guys watch WrestleMania, you'll know that Team Total Divas was victorious. Spoiler alert coming here, guys. Brie Bella won by using her husband's move, the Yes Lock. The crowd went nuts, and I know you are all hearing that that was Brie Bella's official last match with WWE. There are reports that she is retiring, and the WWE is being very quiet about it. We now know why. I could not stand it last night. I sat there at Raw. I was there live, the American Airlines Stadium, and I'm waiting for the Bellabration to begin. It never happened. That's reportedly because they want this all to play out on Total Divas. So we are going to get the retirement story, but just not until maybe next season.
I thought it was kind
I
of
don't
cool.
like that.
Really?
I don't
No.
like it at all.
Yeah, go ahead.
I like that. I thought it was kind of cool when Brie Bella did win the match for her team. Everybody's celebrating. They're all putting her on everyone's shoulders. Nikki Bella actually came out in a neck brace and everything, like fully wrestling gear, but just in a neck brace, obviously to join the celebration or Bellabration.
I know, but I just hate to think that that was the last time that those two will be out in the
So
ring
do
together.
I. And that she was gypped out of her proper retirement at the biggest weekend of the year for this TV show.
Yeah.
Wah, wah.
Right?
Gotta be a contract thing. I'd be mad.
I
I'd
do-
be so upset.
I do think
Thanks,
it's
James.
sad because I mean, essentially, the Divas term has been around for a while. It's not a new term that they just slapped on them a few years ago, but just maybe like 8-9 years ago, they did hire a lot of models to train to be wrestlers. I was like, I don't watch wrestling, but I'll give it a shot. It's a way to travel the world. They always thought of that aspect of being a professional wrestler first. I get to travel the world, go to different cities, get
Rather
paid
than
for it,
competing.
exposure, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, might as well. And I guess I got to learn how to wrestle. And to be honest, I think, maybe even the Bellas and Foxy were kind of hired like that. Thankfully, they kind of got the bug and got really good at it. But it just makes me a little sad to know that, like, now that this change has happened, it's like, oh, now I wish the Bellas were there for like an extra like 6 months or a year just so they can experience this whole change about, from divas to women.
Me too.
Yeah, I really think the whole Divas revolution owes a lot to the Bella twins, and they don't always get acknowledgement for that. But along with this kind of shakeup in the actual WWE, there is some brand new casting news as well. What is this going to mean for the show? So we know that for now, Nikki and Brie will stick with the show. As we know, they're shooting right now for the next season. However, several of the ladies are out, and there are some newcomers on the block. So, reportedly, Mandy Rose, Rosa, and Foxy, who I hate to see go, will not be part of next season of Total Divas. That's right, yeah. Now we know that they always end up sort of filming everyone, and we'll probably see the ladies, but you are also going to see, as making an official debut with the cast next season, Lana, who we told you guys about a couple weeks ago, Renee Young, who we saw with Dean Ambrose about a week ago. I tried to ask him on the red carpet about her and joining the cast and all that stuff, and he was in full Dean Ambrose mode. He was like not answering my questions. He was focused on like wrestling or some stuff when I was trying to talk to him.
You know what's funny? After I saw that interview, I kind of realized like he never really talks about his personal life.
No, and I know he does that on purpose, but I was going to try really hard to get something out of him.
And even even her, like I think aside from just mentioning the word John here and there, obviously Dean Ambrose's real name, that's it. Like she never says Dean Ambrose, my bae, Dean Ambrose. She says, oh, and I think even on the AfterBuzz interview, I think she referenced to her significant other, which I was like, oh. I know who that is.
It's because she gets so much hate online from the Dean Ambrose fans. He has like crazy. He's like the Justin Bieber of the wrestling world. His fans are like crazy rabid, and they threaten her and stuff.
I think that'd be
so she
like
keeps
that.
it quiet.
I think it'd be like that for like Nikki Bella.
I have a new crush.
Everyone just loves her so much.
After seeing like some photos and things from this weekend.
Do tell.
Roman is really, really handsome. I think I got a thing.
The ladies love Roman Reigns.
I got a thing for Roman.
Well, I don't know if you know about The Miz, but his wife Maurice will also be joining the cast. She used to be a diva back in the day. She is fantastic. She's the first diva that I ever interviewed. She got me back into.
Can I ask?
I interviewed them on the red carpet. She's fabulous.
A weird question about her because I don't know anything about her, and I saw them do the interview together. But then I was like seeing some nude photos of her online this weekend.
Maurice?
Yes, she's
Well, she did Playboy before joining the WWE.
So it must have been her Playboy
not like a scandal.
photos.
Not
so before she joined, so they know she did it and it's no big deal. Okay.
Yeah. She's from Canada. She's like very like French, like whatever,
Yeah. Okay.
She was part of that group that I mentioned about hiring models.
Gotcha.
And then thankfully, she got really good. And I think Eva Marie was the hottest person, or today, the hottest wrestler, Eva Marie. I think Maurice is going to top that. Because I think Maurice is just gorgeous.
I have not seen it, but I don't know what she looks like. But to say she's hotter than Eva Marie is saying a lot.
She used to be a diva, and she came back out last night after years being gone from the company and kind of valeted for her hubby. Okay. So she will be on the cast. We can't wait to see her.
And was Lana wearing purple this weekend?
I think part of her ring gear.
I saw some pictures of Lana.
Yeah,
part of her ring gear. It was her first match.
Beautiful.
I was going to say she's not bad looking either. Let's just
so Lana and Maurice will be on the show.
I feel like they're going to be
and Renee Young as well.
I feel like they're going to be so
all blonde.
I feel like Miz and Maurice are going to be so hated because Miz. I mean, it's his character, obviously. I mean, you've interviewed him. He seems like a nice guy for the most part. But
just a big personality.
He comes across as very, very annoying. Like he's like, look at me. He's that guy, and he doesn't. He doesn't
know
on purpose.
him from Real World, and I think his true personality before he became the Miz was super annoying. I mean, sweet guy, nice guy, but he's like kind of.
But his character, he's that guy that like he intentionally wears sunglasses indoors, and we all know what sunglasses. We all know what sunglasses indoors is, but he's that guy where it's like, how the hell did he get her? So not only do you hate him, but it's like now I think she's too hot to be like liked, where it's like she embraces it.
Well, we will definitely.
It's a character. Obviously, I'm talking about their characters.
Yes, and we will be definitely breaking it all down when we see them on the show next season.
Damn, she's pretty. I think this is going to be really good for the show.
It is going to be good, and so not only did I run into those two this weekend, I also found Paige's mom. She was just standing around by herself at the stadium during WrestleMania, and I went up to her and I was like, oh, we love you on the show. And I never, ever ask people for pictures. I never, ever do. And I totally asked her and made her take a picture with me. You guys can see that on my Instagram at Christy Reports. And I felt so embarrassed afterward because then a bunch of people came up and were like bothering her, but I think she liked it. And she's sort of, she's very well respected in the wrestling biz as well as a wrestler herself. So I think she was glad to have a little attention. She walked the red carpet at the Hall of Fame with Alicia Fox and Paige. And you guys will be disappointed to hear, I was okay with it, but you'll be disappointed to hear I did not get Eva Marie, Nikki, or Brie. They shut down the red carpet just as all three of those ladies walked up to me. Eva was like, hey! You know, because she came in last year, and I interviewed her a lot of times. Nikki was so sweet. She was like walking up to me, and I was kind of like extending my arms out to like, oh my God, I love you. And she was like, hey. And then they said that they had to shut down the carpet. She was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was like, oh, it's okay. Hi. You were going to talk to me, and you were sweet, so that's really all that matters. No big exclusives from the divas, but I did get like Randy Orton and Bruno Sammartino and Dean Ambrose and Ryback.
But, however...
And his girlfriend.
No.
So check all of those out on AfterBuzz TV's. No.
Okay.
On AfterBuzz TV's YouTube page. And now let's roll into this episode of Total Divas. Thank you for playing along with me, guys. I couldn't wait to tell you all my news. So this episode opens with Paige and how she can't stand no more baby talk. I think this is how we've all sort of felt listening to Brie and Brian on the show lately. But it wasn't about them this time. She has heard enough of Rosa and this whole baby shower thing. And we didn't understand her attitude at first, and we'll find out why in just a bit. Meanwhile...
real quick, are you ladies like similar? Like, do you guys just get annoyed by maybe one of your guys' friends that have a baby and it's like, okay, shut up already?
I think I used to feel that way a lot when I was like 27 and 28. The whole world got engaged, got married, started having 25. Babies.
Right? Yeah. They should not look 25.
Thank God you all think that. No, that was a few years back for me that like every single person I ever met and everybody on Facebook I ever knew in my whole entire life, like everyone's either getting engaged, getting married, or having a baby all at once. And it was just like gag inducing for me, I guess, because I felt like everyone's doing this on a I think I should do this right now timeline is what I was thinking about it. Not that that's what was going on in their lives, but I was just like, this is so annoying. I can't just go on Facebook. It was too much. And I get it when Paige was like, I had enough.
Paulina?
I wasn't. Let's see, my friend just got engaged, one of my best friends. So I think it's just slowly starting that my group is kind of starting all those life changes, and I'm over here like, hey, third wheel, cool, when are we going to the honeymoon? You know, those type of things. But I probably wouldn't be annoyed. I would probably talk my friend's ear off about being pregnant, engaged, and all that stuff. So I don't know, I'd be excited. I'm a little bit of the opposite.
Well, meanwhile, we see Miss Nikki Bella, and she is still kissing those damn pieces of paper for that plaque, which I love because I have one. But this is the same scene from the first episode of the season. We are now in episode 12. So just wanted them to know they didn't get that past us. Yeah. We totally noticed.
You know how much I hate those production kind of... I won't get into it, but...
Well, Brie and Brian are heading to Port Townsend, Washington, where they're looking at some land, and they are thinking about... At first, it's just like, oh, let's get a summer home, and then it comes out that really, they want to move to basically the middle of freaking nowhere. Not surprised, however, they put so much work into their home in Arizona, and that seems to really be their, like, sanctuary. I was surprised that they were considering this. Were you guys?
I was, just because, I mean, when you buy your first home... I hear that you don't put a lot of work into it just because, you know, you grow and your family grows and then you end up buying a bigger house in a different area, you know, things like that, little things like that. But it's so them. Like the Washington is so quaint and woodsy, and it fits them perfectly.
I think I was surprised because I know that their home base in Arizona is kind of about being near her family. And I was like, oh, why would they want to move to Washington? But then talking so much about how Brian grew up there, it's like, oh, well, that will be their home near his family.
I didn't know that either. I didn't know he was from there.
Yeah.
I think based on the timeline, I think this was probably taped, maybe like September, October.
Yeah, they're all wearing their pink stuff too.
I think this was probably before... obviously, Brie announced her retirement. This is right before Brian even knew, you know, he couldn't wrestle anymore. So I think that their mindset is still currently in Arizona. I think they were just maybe thinking about after wrestling, maybe like 5-10 years down the road. Not maybe now it might be a different story, but I think just back then they were thinking about maybe they're like they said forever home, just having it there and having it ready. But I didn't think they were essentially going to move there immediately.
But now after this whole retirement for Brie, I'm actually kind of excited because now she gets to start that whole, you know, the mother chapter, and then I really want to see what she ends up doing. Don't they have her and Nikki the food?
Oh, the local thing.
Yeah. They have that going on, and you know, I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do.
And let's not forget about Birdie Bees or whatever the hell that
I know, like the day after,
crazy business
Birdie
was.
Bee.
Yeah.
we had a couple press releases the day after about like, oh, here's our Twitter, here's our website, here's our, like, they made it official like a day or two after that Total Divas episode aired.
And just real quick, guys, I'm not sure that I mentioned that Naomi Trinity is coming back to the show as well. Did I forget
fun.
that?
I love
right.
her.
We love her, and I think
Good.
she's what was missing this season, and so
Yeah.
I'm glad to be able to see her. And the chat roll is also wondering what happened to my voice. You all heard that crazy crowd screaming at Raw last night. You know what happened to my voice. I was there. I'm trying to think of the crazy things we're chanting, but I can't.
Were you
now.
one of the ones? Please tell me you weren't one of the people chanting "We are idiots."
They chanted that?
No. I thought the travel package chants were quite interesting. There was a beach ball. We did the wave at one point. Man, it was fun. All right, sorry. I know I keep making this all about me, guys.
Do you think Daniel wanted to move back to Washington because his father passed away and now his mom's all alone?
Oh, they didn't mention that, but I bet you're right, James.
I was under the impression that the parents were separated.
Oh.
No, I think they were together.
I
Pretty sure.
can
didn't they always
almost
talk about his parents were
I'm
together
like
forever?
70-30 that they were
Either way.
Chat roll, please confirm.
Either way, he's awful young to lose a parent. So I think like a lot changes in your mind. You're like, well, I don't have as much time left as I thought, and I should be near the family.
Because
and,
I think the sister
That's
still
so
lives in
true.
Washington. He's got a sister that lives.
The
lives
sister
With
lives
all
in
the nieces and
Pennsylvania.
nephews.
Well, where does
really?
the dad live?
Yeah, 'cause
Pennsylvania.
in Washington.
you watch, there's a Wrestling Road Diaries.
Okay.
Before he was signed, they go to his sister's house in Pennsylvania, and it's ridiculous. I don't know what her husband does for a living, but he's got money.
Let me tell you why.
Oh,
Your
how much
money
does it cost to live
in
Being
Pennsylvania?
from Pennsylvania, your money goes a lot farther. Let me tell you. My sister, excuse me, how unaccomplished do I feel now? My little sister had an offer accepted on a house as of yesterday morning, and I'm like, oh my god, my little sister's gonna be a homeowner and like get married and have kids. But I'm like, hey, just over here in LA, like podcasting. What's up? So I looked at all these photos of the house, and it's so beautiful and like new and fresh, and I showed a buddy of mine that I work with at a different job, not AfterBuzz job, a different job, and he was like, oh my god, that'd be a $2 million house here. I'm like, yes, but in this area of Pennsylvania, this house is $249,900.
Oh my god.
So it's
I think it's time to move.
It's like mind blowing.
I know. So your money goes a lot further in PA.
Yep.
The chat
Thing
roll
goes-
is weighing in, and they're quite sure that that's the reason why Brie and Brian want to move as well.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I would too.
Well, meanwhile, Alicia Fox is dealing with some family stuff herself, and none of this ever really made that much sense to me until the very end. Like, what was she really so mad at her mom about? Or like, this whole storyline felt like there was something they weren't saying.
Yeah.
I felt like maybe the mom has a boyfriend, and there's some discord there, or there was something that we weren't hearing, and it made this not make sense. But in the beginning of the episode, when she's talking about it, she's talking to Paige, and she tells Paige all about it. Paige says to her, like, anytime you need me, just call. It was so sweet. And I know I rag on Paige a lot, but I met her mom this weekend, and so now I'm like, feel a little bit bad about it. So I just wanted to point out that like Paige was really sweet and like was actually being a good friend in this moment. We've seen her not be a great friend in the
Very,
past.
very James Taylor-ish.
Oh.
No, am I the only person that knows? Yeah, there you go.
I thought that was
Winter,
right
spring,
on.
I'm not
summer,
going
and
to sing
fall.
anymore because I'm a really terrible
Winter,
singer.
spring, summer, and fall. Whenever you need, just call.
You know what? It's like she's let go of being a not so good girlfriend, and she's ready to be a good friend.
Yeah.
That's a nice
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
She's had a lot of turmoil lately, and she's just like, the shackles are coming off, and she's just like, I just need to be like, get in touch with my fellow man.
Her fellow woman.
Her
wrestler.
fellow woman.
Well, let's go back to Brie and Brian and Nikki for a while. They're in Washington with JJ, and was Lauren there too?
No.
No,
No,
she
just
was not
the four.
there. That's right. And this leads to a whole conversation about, is Nikki high maintenance? Well, of course, Nikki is at least a little bit high maintenance. But you know, I thought Brian seemed a lot less annoyed with her than he usually does.
Yeah.
This was kind of all in good fun. He was just ribbing her, and it seemed to prove what Brie was saying. Like, oh, can't you tell he's happy you're here? Like, he could even stand Nikki Bella and her high maintenance-ness more in Washington. What did you guys think
I
of this?
loved his explanation on why she's high maintenance.
Yes.
As opposed to not being high maintenance. I just thought that was hilarious.
I thought their scenes were so funny. Like, I really haven't laughed at this show at all this season, and I laughed the entire show whenever the two of them were on camera together.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the side of everybody I love. And it was nice to not have that weird tension where I'm like, ew, Brian does hate Nikki. This is creepy. No, he doesn't. And it was all in good fun. And, like, I just love his explanation of why she's high maintenance to her. I don't know. I'm not saying it right tonight. Sorry, guys.
Just real quick.
It was funny.
I'm sure JJ is very happily married. I just think that it'd be just so much more
Oh
interesting.
my God, he doesn't want to be with you. Get over it.
I wasn't thinking, like, just considering who everybody's married to and everybody's with. I just think it'd be even interesting, more, spinoff if JJ, got with like a wrestling chick, like a diva,
Yeah,
or women wrestler
especially
now.
after Mama Bella got married to John Laurinaitis.
Just a thought that came
No
into my
offense,
head.
Lauren, we like you too.
Yeah, I'm sure he's very happily. He looks happily married.
It'd be a very intimidating family.
Right? And then you got to keep up with like Nikki Bella and those boots.
I know.
Can we die for those boots? Like, I've been camping a lot in my life. I have never done it in boots like that, but I would love to try.
I'm much more of a Brie style chick, so I would not be wearing those boots. I thought she meant the cute, like, J-Lo Manolo, like old school Manolo boots where they were like a shorter booty.
Yeah.
And they were like a pointed toe and a stiletto heel. Like, those were adorable and to die for when she wore them in like the Jenny from the Block video or something. And I thought, and I've seen some people like bringing them back lately, and I was like, oh, they still make them, cool. And I thought that's what she meant. And then she shows up in the
Knee
over the
highs.
knee, and I was like, oh my God, not what I had in mind. I think there was like a platform inside of the pump part too.
Yeah, dude.
There's a lot going on. I can't believe she didn't fall down running across that field.
Because she's in them all the time.
She's crazy.
Well, Nikki and Brian decided that they're going to place a little bet. $50, can Nikki spend the night outside? And she does pretty well setting up the tent, but then all it takes is like a necessary potty break and she's out.
I thought she was at least going to attempt to sleep outside, and then like in the morning it would be like she snuck inside and like gave up.
Oh, that would have been cute.
I thought it would be like she stuffed the sleeping bag with some pillows to make it look like she was still in there, but she was secretly like sleeping in the guest bedroom. I thought that's going to happen. It was like, nope, we're calling it a night on production at 10 p.m. So pretend you have to go to the bathroom.
I mean, is this true? Like, I mean, obviously you said you've been camping. I mean, as far as, when duty calls, I mean, that's what you got to do, right?
Well, we camped at campgrounds where there was
me
like
too.
bathhouses.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too.
Yeah.
I've gone camping once. But then again, when I'm a little intoxicated, I'm known for popping squats. Because I can't make it to the bathroom.
It's dark. It's easier to just...
No shame over there.
You gotta go, especially when you're intoxicated.
I've definitely done that. Yeah. It's like rather than find the flashlight, walk all the way to the bathroom.
The difference is number one and number two. I don't know. I probably would have been on Nikki's. Like, I need a bathroom.
She did have a pretty good explanation. I mean, there's poison ivy out there and stuff.
Yeah.
The problem is the bet wasn't high enough. $50 is nothing to that girl because she's spending $500 a pop on everything she owns.
Right? She ruined those probably like several $1,000 boots.
Right.
Just stomping around in the mud.
The bet needed to be like $1,000. I mean, Brian would have never gone for it, but that's the only way she would have cared if that bet was way more money.
Well, let's talk about what's going on with Paige this episode. We haven't seen her much lately, and we haven't seen her a whole lot in the ring either, and she kind of is explaining that at the beginning of the episode. My matches aren't going great, and I just have a lot going on, and we've been like, what, Paige? What's the secret? What's going on with you? And she also is very afraid to tell Rosa that she can't make it to the baby shower because Alicia Fox has already done that. It didn't go over well. Do you guys think that Rosa is being too self-centered in these situations, or are the ladies not being sensitive enough to her? She really wants them there at the shower.
I'm gonna have to go against Rosa on this one, and I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt as far as like she's pregnant and there's hormones and there's feelings,
sensitivity, and
exactly, and I can understand that, but I didn't like where she didn't even give the opportunity to Fox to explain why. Maybe Fox didn't want to go into it. All she said was family, but then she said, well, Pritchie is sick.
No, I'm sorry. She was saying it preachy. It was spelled preachy.
Okay, well, she was saying that, he's sick, and then Rosa just went phew and got up and left. She didn't even catch that. So I didn't think that was fair to Foxy at all. And, you know, maybe Paige didn't want to share that right away, but I mean, I feel like if it's your best friend and she can't be there, there's got to be a really good reason for that.
Well, and the reason she ends up giving is she's like, hey, once they found out I was going to LA for your baby shower, they booked me on this show instead, and I have to go do ridiculousness. I just thought it was so funny that she had to keep being like, I have to go do ridiculousness instead of coming to your shower. It sounds like she's saying, like, I have to go do some stupid crap instead of come to your shower.
Yeah.
It's like, that must be the exact way that Rosa heard it. Like, yeah, you have to go do something stupid and unimportant and ridiculous instead of coming to my shower.
While
Yeah.
we're talking about this, can I talk about this real quick?
Yeah, dude.
So that episode of Ridiculous that she was on, they had a little segment of like bad wrestling moments that happen, and a video I shot like 4 years ago was on there.
Oh my
and
gosh.
She like stopped and broke it down. It's when the guy moonsaults onto his face on the basketball floor,
Oh.
and she's like, "Oh my god, oh my god, that just looks so bad." And then like they talk about it. I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's my video." They're talking about it.
Really? That's so
Awesome.
cool.
That is cool.
I love that. Well, meanwhile, Foxy's mama makes it into town, as does her sister Christina. Interesting fact about Christina is that she was actually signed with WWE at one point as well. And when Cameron was here last season with us, she said that part of the catalyst of the issues between Cameron and Foxy that we saw last season was because when Cameron got signed on, Foxy wanted her sister to get that role. Her sister was a dancer too, and she wanted her sister to have the role in the Funkadactyls with Naomi. So that's kind of what started the issues between the two of them. And actually, Christina never really ended up doing anything much, right?
I mean,
with
she
WWE?
was on. She got signed, and then they put her on Tough Enough. Actually, the same one that
that's
Ariane was
right.
on. And then obviously she got eliminated, and yeah, they never really did anything with her. I think, by the way, she is gorgeous. I think she should be nothing against the Foxy. I think she should be the one that's on the roster, and the
She
other
was
one.
also very reasonable. It was clear that she is used to playing the role of the peacemaker in the home. She gave Foxy really good advice before the mom even got there, you know, and said like, hey, just calm down. I don't want you to be upset. And I was like, oh, this girl has been used to keeping the peace between her mom and her sister for a long time.
Yes. She's like seems like a really beautiful person inside and out. She just had like a really calming presence about her.
And Foxy's total opposite.
Yes.
Attitude everywhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't see the sister going and stalking her ex-boyfriend at a hotel room or something like that. You know?
Well, Deborah flies into town as well, her mother, and things seem pretty normal at first. When they're all in the car together, it's like, oh, they're talking and laughing, and what is the issue here?
Yeah.
Were you guys confused as well?
I was like waiting for the other shoe to drop, I think.
Okay.
Like waiting for someone to bring up the elephant in the room or something.
Well, her mom, Foxy's mom, is like mad that Foxy is mad. And they kind of have this thing, they have it out about Houston, and the mom like doesn't even remember. And I think that's just such an indicator of like, her mom clearly did not intend to insult her. She maybe didn't realize it was such a big deal, or, you know, this really kind of sounded like a small issue being made into a big issue, but it was clearly something that was very important to Foxy. Were you guys taking sides in this? What did you think?
I was probably Team Foxy for that. My parents are very supportive in my decisions and things that I do, and they've always been there. So if they had done the same thing, I mean, maybe her mom wasn't, you know, there as she has said before, I would be upset. But my parents would also understand. And I feel like the whole, when her mom brings up, like, I've been a single mom and I've done as much as I can, I feel like it's kind of like a cop-out. Like, I kind of got the vibe that she kind of uses that a little too much than she should. When it's kind of like, well, your daughters are, you know, they're adults and, you know, they're doing well. And, you know, this is, as a parent, I mean, I'm not a parent, but if I were a parent, I would want to go celebrate that and, you know, see you succeed in things like that.
Her mom was insulted that she had at one point said something like, oh, you know, it makes me nervous when you guys are there or something. And this was like a classic. Her mom took that in a way that obviously Foxy didn't mean it, because she was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Again, this really seems like it's just a huge misunderstanding.
Yeah.
And really what's at the heart of it is that they're all worried about Preachy, who we meet at one point. I never quite understood. They explained it as that he was with their mom before she was with their dad. But so he must have just still always been around in the picture. And they mentioned that he's done a lot for both Christina and Tori, as her mother called her. Her name was Victoria in this episode. And it was easy to see why he would be such like a beloved character in their lives, right?
Oh, yeah. Foxy called him dad. Well, you know,
yeah.
he's like my dad.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this baby shower that went down. Of course, at first, none of the divas are there, but Lillian Garcia shows up because she's a sweet lady, and of course, she comes out for something like that.
And she
lives
lived
in
not
LA
too
as
far.
well. Yeah, but they play some games. There's all the baby stuff and the candy and the thing and the pictures. I don't know.
Who's Lillian?
Lillian is a ring announcer.
Oh,
She's been
okay.
with the company for like almost 30 years or something like
Okay.
that. 20?
15.
A long time, but she looks like she's
So it's
25.
like 99.
She was so well dressed on Sunday, it like wasn't even funny. She looks so good. We
I
love
feel
her.
like for a shower, at least it was like a little lively and not super cheese ball. It wasn't like, oh, guess how big around Rosa's belly is.
I like that game. I had never seen it before. I've been to a couple baby showers this
sucking
past
the
year.
baby
and
bottle?
Yeah. It looked like fun.
I mean,
gonna
I'm
be
all
doing
for
that
like
now?
no games. Like if I ever have a baby shower, ugh, I would like would hope everyone else would have cocktails. I know I wouldn't be
Right.
able to, but I would hope everyone else would have cocktails, and they'd be like, I'd be like, no games. We are not doing games. No, ma'am.
The live chat is resounding about it, just how much they love Lillian. Love Lillian. Emmanuel Dominguez said, Lillian Garcia is just there for the free grub. Andrea Beeler says, I love Lillian. She's fantastic. Montserrat Geraldine says, Lillian Garcia should be on Total Divas. Oh, we'd love to see that. I kind of like her in the role where she just comes around every once in a while, though, and she seems like kind of an older, like a mom figure that they all talk to. Angie Harris said her hubby was an AfterBuzz host. Oh, that's brand new information to me, huh? Interesting. Brian Rice wants Eden Styles to join the cat. Wait, Eden. I think he means Eden, like Eden. Anyway, so moving on. Well, Lillian is almost 50. She's a MILF, said SM Down, age 9.
Oh my god.
Except for I don't think she has any
Not
kids.
old.
I don't think so either.
No, she doesn't have any. She's just a lady. Yeah, anyway. All right, so moving on. Paige does show up to the baby shower because, of course, she can't not. We see her even at the Ridiculous studio with what's his name, and he seems kind of like smitten with her. Did anyone else pick up on that?
I thought he seemed a little
Rob
intimidated.
Dyrdek?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he like flirty with her on the show? I remember watching it, but it's been a long time
I don't watch that show.
since I saw it.
Entirely. Not any more than he is with any of his other guests.
Right.
He just got married.
Oh, okay. Probably to someone gorgeous, I'm sure.
Probably.
Ugh, and that Chanel, she drives me nuts.
I'd put money on that she's blonde.
I'm sure you're right. Well, what else do we got tonight, guys? Was there anything about the episode that stuck out to all of you?
Well, Paige's secret.
Paige's secret. Let's talk about it.
Honestly, I mean, the Total Divas. What am I trying to say? Where like everything always seems like it's not even a big deal, but I was actually surprised on how big of a deal Paige's secret was.
Rob's wife is not blonde. She's brunette. I was wrong.
Oh. She looks
but she
young.
is like
But she is
the
incredibly
prettiest
gorgeous.
person I've ever laid eyes on.
Oh my goodness. Well, Paige's big secret turns out to be that she was pregnant at the age of 18. She says this was right before she came over to America and was signed with WWE. And she just sort of refers to it as a lost baby. She never uses the word miscarriage. She just says a lost baby. She reveals that she then had some cysts and a surgery that meant that she may never be able to have another child after this.
See, without getting too controversial, I don't want to go into that topic, but I just feel like she seemed a little bit more upset. I mean, obviously losing a baby, I'm sure it's probably one of the worst things in the world, but she even seemed even more upset at not being able to have future children.
Oh yeah, that's scary.
Oh.
And my question is, when she's saying it's really hard for female wrestlers to have babies, does she mean that because you never get a break, it's even hard to conceive? Or is she meaning like your body is kind of like banged up, so it's more likely than not you're gonna have problems conceiving?
That's how I understood it.
Okay.
Like that she was saying that it's difficult because of what they put their bodies through. Is that true?
That's how I took it. I'm not
I
sure about the science of
I
it.
almost thought she meant like, oh, we're being body slammed on the mat every day, so even if we did get pregnant, we kind of like miscarry right away and don't even know, is what I was thinking, but I don't know.
That's
I mean,
entirely
if you find
possible.
out you're pregnant, you're not going to be wrestling anymore. I think it's
Right.
just the whole like all the training that you put in and where you are, and then you get pregnant, and now you have to completely stop all of that and all of a sudden change your body to train your body to do something else, and then you're out for 9 months. Say you go back, you have to kind of start from scratch and getting into training and all of that stuff back to that caliber, and then you have to kind of win the audience back a little bit. I would think. I would think that no.
Well, I mean, a time off is probably a wrestler's worst,
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you? Isn't it in that world you want to stay relevant?
Yeah, dude, look, it got
Exactly,
Rosa cut
so-
from the cast of the show.
I mean, that's why,
Exactly, that's what
that's
I'm
why
saying.
people
You
like
take
Bree,
9
like,
months.
she's not taking a year off. She's just flat out retiring.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. I would think like if you're gonna have kids, you probably would retire rather than.
I mean, there are moms
Unless
on the
you're planning
roster.
on only having one.
Karma.
I'm sorry?
George, you want to bring up Karma and talk about her?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
what
had,
happened
like-
with her?
She was pregnant, so she asked for time off, and she was gonna have her baby and then come back, and then I think
she had a miscarriage.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
really.
Yeah.
That's why I don't want to bring it up.
I thought
But-
she took time off to have her baby and then just never came back to the WWE.
No, because she showed up at that following, like, because that was in
The Rumble she
2011.
threw Ziggler out at.
She showed up 2012 Rumble. But I had heard through the grapevine. I don't know. I could be very wrong. I mean, I remember seeing something on TMZ around that time that she actually, and unfortunately, lost the baby because everybody was trying to time it. Like, oh well, she should have had the kid. She should be back and whatnot. But then, yeah, I saw it somewhere on TMZ at the time.
Claire pointed out in the chat that Paige is always saying that her mom wrestled when she was pregnant with Paige, and I think doesn't she say for like quite a while? Like she says like up to like 6 months or something like that. I feel like
because she said that she didn't even know that she was pregnant with Paige.
Right.
That's what I thought.
That's what Paige always says. Yeah. So
I mean, like,
look how Paige turned out.
There are people on the roster. There are people on the roster today that have had kids. You know, Tamina I think has 2 kids. I can't think of anyone else that has kids right now.
Stephanie.
Well,
Stephanie.
yeah. And she's only had one or maybe one match since she
But
had a
even
kid.
certain people can't, so I think some people can handle it and some people can't, or some people choose not to handle it. So, I mean, I think it just depends on who you are.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of weighing
each his
in.
own.
Yes, Brian Rice. We are talking about Awesome Kong from TNA. Emmanuel Dominguez says, yeah, Karma did have a miscarriage. Well, I didn't think we'd be talking about this today. Montserrat Geraldine points out that Trish Stratus had a baby. He's like 2 now. She looks great. That's very true. And AJ0314 said most female wrestlers don't have children. I think they're
It just
kinda
depends.
split.
Even to, I know we saw talk about it like a few seasons ago. Eva Marie doesn't plan on having kids anytime soon, or maybe even ever.
She didn't want any.
Obviously, Nikki desperately wants one.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like I said, everybody's a little bit
Mickey
different.
James just had a kid with Magnus from TNA, and she still wrestles right now.
That's true.
Dang.
Mickey James.
Get it.
Beasts. Mad respect for these women who put their bodies through so much and do that too, but then also who get back on the road and try to maintain being a mom and a job and the whole thing. You know, it can't be
And I think it's
easy.
just more than just wrestlers. You have singers who dance on stage and who tour and who are on the road, and hosts, do that too. It's just anyone.
And Beyonce's still killing it. Britney
Heck
Spears
yeah.
obviously had 2 kids. She's, headlining Vegas.
You can do anything.
Huh?
Oh, I love that. Yay, we're so positive, guys. Anything that we should add about this episode, y'all?
I like Paige's ad. I was chuckling a lot at Paige's jokes at the baby shower. I thought that shit was pretty funny.
Oh yeah.
She's really good at that kind of humor. Like obviously we saw it a few weeks ago when she was at that bingo with the old guys and old girls. But yeah, I thought she was.
When Rosa's mom won the sucking the bottle contest, and she's like, "That's how Rosa was made." Like that was a good one.
Yeah, but dude, isn't there supposed to be cocktails in there? Isn't that supposed to be the whole point?
I think a lot of baby showers are dry because
They
the
are.
mom can't drink, which sucks.
Which would make me more depressed.
Which is why I don't like going to showers.
Right? And I would never want to be like the focal point of a party where people aren't drinking. Like, is everyone just sitting
Right.
around
I mean, if
staring
you
at
put
her
it-
like,
no,
so
but-
you're going to have a baby, huh? That'll probably hurt. Yeah. Right. You know?
But I mean, if you're gonna throw a party, it's up to you. You can make people drink. Just
Oh,
have booze.
you know what? I'm also forgetting that Rosa is like sober because she used to be an alcoholic. So
Oh,
maybe that's
Maybe
then,
that's
then
why.
you probably have a dry baby shower if the person used to be an
sober
alcoholic.
party.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know. I recently went to a baby shower and it was dry, but the dad was drinking. He wasn't at the party. They had more than one kid, so they were in the house drinking. And I was like, I want to go to that party.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you where Nikki Bella doesn't want to go. She doesn't want to have to go to Port Townsend, Washington all the damn time to see Brian Bryan.
I loved Nikki in this episode.
Me too.
I did too.
I didn't.
Oh.
It's always about Nikki,
not?
Nikki,
No,
Nikki.
no, but it wasn't. And I think Brie and Brian were misunderstanding at the end. Nikki didn't word it very well. She was saying like, oh, I don't want to have to come, like it's so far. But really she was thinking like, I'm never going to see you. I want to be able to see you and spend time with you. And I think in the back of Nikki's mind as well is that she's still going to be on the road.
Right.
You know what I mean? She knows that Brie and Brian are probably close to just settling in. But she's thinking she's going to be around the world, and she wants to be able to just pop in, and she doesn't want to have to fly in and then drive 3 hours. And she was definitely coming from the right place, and they misunderstood.
I feel like we've seen this storyline before, though, and then I could have been wrong. I think, and then John Cena came and I was like, well, you know, you got to live your own life. You know, you got to let her do her thing. You know, it's like, okay, but here's the thing.
George is so right, though.
The only thing that I kind of like, all right, I get what Nikki's point of view is because they are twins. You know what I mean? That's kind of like, especially growing up together, like at the same time. Like,
well, I mean, yeah, twins puts a weight on it, but I think it's just siblings in general. Like
but more so twins. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I talk to my sisters every day, and we are, you know, we're close. And I mean, you have your sister in Pennsylvania. Isn't it hard to not see her every day?
No.
But I mean, going back to what you're saying, like, I mean, how would you feel if your sister moved to, like, you know, Pennsylvania or wherever, or Port Townsend,
Give me a
Washington?
reason to visit. Honestly, I would want her to be like, if that's what you want, that's what you want.
But would you be sad? You'd be like, oh
I'd
no,
be
but
sad, of course.
But then I don't get to see you. I don't want you to live here because I don't get to see you.
I think that's where I can understand the whole twin thing, because I don't need to see her every single day. I can talk to her every single day.
But yeah, this is Brie and Brian's life, like, and I'm sure in turn, and maybe Brie'd be the same way. But I'd look at it as, I'm sure Brie would be very happy if, you know, Nikki and John were to move to somewhere, and, you know, just because that's their dream home.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know that Nikki has a problem being alone.
Oh yeah,
that's been a thing this season, and so I think Brie put it well that, like, you know what, she likes to third wheel with us because John's away so much. So it's a lot harder for her to fly in and third wheel when it's a 3-hour drive from the airport. You know, I think she's used to flying into Arizona and her whole family's there.
Yeah.
And that's her chill time. And now that might get broken up.
Maybe we'll see her third wheeling with Lauren and JJ.
Yeah,
More.
dude.
I'm still so freaked out by JJ. I can't get over it. That whole sexting thing from a previous season, I can't unsee it. And I just can't even I can't bear to watch when he's on. I'm like, oh God.
What's funny is, like, they didn't even see the picture, so I can only imagine how you'd be if you actually saw the picture.
I know.
What sexting thing?
Remember when he was sending a picture to his wife and he accidentally sent it to the group chat that Nikki and Brie were in?
Oh.
And, like, the girls
and she showed it to
everyone.
cousins. Speaking of stuff that's gone down in past seasons, y'all, let's play a little bit of total throwback.
I hate this game because I'm not winning.
Suck at it.
Thank you, James. All right, guys. I'm not sure if you're going to remember this or not. It was a big moment, but we'll see. Do you 2, 3 remember? You always know. Which diva got her tooth knocked out with a super kick from Tamina Snuka?
Nikki.
Okay. Thank you for the dramatic
I don't
pause.
remember this.
You've been so disappointed in yourself, Paulina. I'm glad you could get this one.
I win today.
Do you guys remember? So she had her tooth knocked out, and then she didn't want John to see her, and she hid from him.
Oh, that I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't remember in my mind, like, seeing her get the tooth knocked out.
And I think didn't she still have it not totally fixed? Even like recently, she was saying like, oh, I still haven't gotten my tooth fixed.
Probably easier to not have it worry about it flying, a fake tooth flying out, than just leave it out while you're wrestling.
Oh, I love it. Well, guys, we are coming up on a big 2-part season finale for Total Divas. Do you have any predictions?
I was waiting for the sound effect. Okay, there we go.
I'm trying to remember the previews for it.
Oh, they go to Paris.
Your AfterBuzz
Gabby.
And then...
Guys, I feel like Rosa Mendez is going to have a baby.
Duh.
Man.
Okay, so I think,
I thought
obviously,
she was just getting fat.
we're going to see her get engaged on the top of the Eiffel Tower, wherever they are, and also have the babes. As for everyone else, I don't know where we're wrapping up.
Yeah.
I want to see drama. I want to see a little argument or
I feel like we are. I mean, especially with kind of just them, we feel like a lot more storylines is more, I want to say, fabricated when it's just them. I think it's more real when it's, with their family. Like, I totally bought that whole Alicia Fox mother storyline. I totally bought that. Obviously almost anything with JJ and whatnot, but when it's just them, I feel like they just kind of try to find things to do. Or,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Mandy's going to get on Foxy's nerves, and Foxy's going to put her in her place. I know. I feel bad for her now she's out. I hope she returns to the cast later when she's more active on the roster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably just going to focus on training and nothing but.
Good for her.
Well, I mean, stop throwing NXT girls up on Total Divas, and it's like, why? All these other girls work so hard. Why are you putting younger girls ahead of them? And then you're like, oh, it didn't pan out. Taking them off the show. It's like, well, they shouldn't have been on the show.
Speaking of which, though, I know that we talked about it, in the news and gossip, but I'm kind of curious if they're still going to stick with this whole Total Divas name.
Right. For
the
that
show?
I was
Gonna
wondering
bring
about.
that up.
It's obviously not going to be called Total Women, but I mean, like, I don't know.
It's very, very, very rare to change the title of a show, and it would have to be for a very good reason. And I think that's how people know the show. And Nikki and Brie are essentially still and always will be divas. Nikki Bella will always be the longest reigning Divas champion
Officially
ever,
now,
no matter
too.
what happens with this women's title forever. So, guys, if people want to share their thoughts with all this with you folks, where can they do that, Paulina?
You guys can find me on Twitter at _ Paulina Aguilar and on Instagram at Paulina M. Aguilar.
And you guys can find me, Megan Stecher, across all platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. It's all at Megan Stecher.
And you guys can find me at G Hermoza all across all social media platforms. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat,
This guy.
PlayStation Network.
Nobody watches Total Divas has time to play PlayStation Network. They're watching Total Divas. And they're watching my interviews from the Hall of Fame red carpet on AfterBuzzTV.com. Please also check out ChristyReports.com and all my behind-the-scenes videos and photos on Twitter and Instagram at Christy Reports. We will be back next week to break down part 1 of the big 2-part season finale. We're going to Paris, y'all. Woo! And we will
wish I was.
see you there. Have a good week.
Paris, Texas it is, though.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.